All right, good morning. Sorry I was a second late there. Um, just finishing making this iced coffee. Heard she didn't last long, Brett. Oof. My son went to a school meeting with my wife. We did not know how that was going to go. It is yummy. All right, here we go. Quick shout out to Carlos and Ashley Rodon. We went to their Willow Gala last night. Out here in Connecticut. Saw a bunch of old teammates, a bunch of Yankees people. Why does my hat look so weird? Anyway, this hat was in the gift bag, so that's why I'm wearing it. Anyway, so shout out to them. They put on a great event last night, and it was really touching. Ashley did a great job. The Rodons did a great job with that. It was cool to see some people. I had to come out of my green fleece and put on a tuxedo. So that's always interesting, but it was cool to see some people. So really enjoyed that. So thanks to the Rodons for that invite. And let's get on to the program today. Let's hit the standings. Okay, so a bunch of teams didn't play yesterday, and they're starting today. So Blue Jays with a 2-game lead on the Yankees, 3 on the Red Sox. Red Sox did play, and they won last night. Detroit, 8.5 up on Cleveland. Houston 2 up on Seattle, so that's gotten back to close again as Seattle's finally won 3 in a row now that they've been home. They beat the Cardinals last night. Philly 8 up on the Mets, so no bueno. Obviously that 1-0 game, that's going to be the majority of what we dig into today. There's just a lot of interesting stuff that happened in that game, and I'm not telegraphing this for Mets fans, but they've had the most interesting games by far over the last few weeks, with all the call-ups and just the drama of it all. So they're fascinating. Brewers 7.5 up on the Cubs, and Dodgers 1 up on the Padres. We're also going to watch Glasnow pitch. He had a near no-hitter last night. But we'll get right into this Mets-Phillies game. So it was a 1-0 game. Phillies end up winning it. Here's the box score. It was a really good matchup. McLean and Nola. Now, McLean's been unreal. This was his first loss of the year as he goes 5 1/3, gives up the 1 run, and that's all the Phillies needed. But really, the story for me in this game overall was that Aaron Nola had posted a great start. That's really big for the Phillies as they approach the playoffs. Nola's got a lot of playoff experience. He's somebody that they're going to need. They can't just have the 3 lefties, I don't think, in there every single series, so they're going to need Nola to step up. And he finally did last night. So we'll watch a little bit of that. We'll watch McLean, who was really impressive again, facing a team for the second time in a couple weeks, and a really great team at that, who makes adjustments. He made some adjustments on the fly. He pitched out of some traffic at times. I did see, Dennis, to your point in the chat, I did see that McLean had a broken nail with his finger during the game, and I watched him talk about it a little bit this morning. Well, it wasn't from this morning, it was from last night, but I watched it this morning where he talked a little bit about how the adrenaline didn't allow him to feel that at all, didn't affect him, and we'll see what it looks like moving forward. But this guy's a competitor, man. You can see it and watch it when he throws, and it's impressive. And then we also got to get into Helsley. It's best inning in a long time last night. Did anybody notice his usage? Anybody notice his usage last night? That was key. Me and my buddy Mitch, who's on here all the time, we feel like we might have fixed him. Throw breaking balls. That was the big thing. And then the 9th inning with Duran. So, okay. So let's go into the player breakdown so we can look at both of these starters, McLean and then Nola. And, it's interesting because they're both kind of kitchen sink type of pitchers, and command type guys and reading the swings type of guys, and really pitchers. Aaron Nola is the type of guy that used to make me feel jealous because I felt like I had a similar mix to him and I could have maybe been this guy if I just could have been a little bit better. But last night, 28 four-seamers, 23 sinkers, 21 changeups. So that's a little bit of a departure. He's known for his knuckle curve, which also was 21, but 21 changeups is a big deal. And then 1 cutter, but it turned out to be a very big, important cutter in this game as he used it to strike out Juan Soto in a big spot. So we'll watch that. That's fascinating. And then on the other side, McLean, sinker, sweeper, curveball, changeup, cutter, four-seam. So McLean throws even more pitch types because he's got the sweeper and the curveball, which is so fascinating to watch him kind of throttle back and forth between 2 different shape elite breaking balls. All right, but let's go get into this game really quick. And I don't know the order at which I want to look at this. So I think we'll just watch it as if it's a regular game, and we'll speed watch it. So first batter of the game, Nola gets him with that curveball, that knuckle curve. To me, this is his best pitch. This is his plus pitch. This is his swing and miss pitch. Everything else he has is very good, but it's obviously all command driven. This pitch is actually a pretty good pitch to hit by location, bottom of the zone. Lindor's got a little bit of a scoopy swing, but he swings right over that pitch. Then there was several really good at bats with Juan Soto. So we're gonna watch all the pitches to Juan Soto, and we'll speed watch everybody else. All right, so Juan Soto draws a walk in this first at bat. Let's watch it. Starts him with the sinker down. Doubling up sinker. You see the inside target, and it's a front door sinker. Beautiful pitch. I personally never like to use this pitch to perfection too early in the count, because then I feel like it takes it away from you when you need the freeze for strike three, maybe later. And there's no point in being too perfect early, but that's in fact what this pitch is. This is a front door painted sinker. Gets the jackknife effect of Soto. As you can see, he slides the feet back, so he felt like this ball was in on him, and it comes back to the corner. All that does in this situation is get Nola strike one. So it doesn't really, finish the at-bat, which is why I like to usually hold it back. But good pitch, regardless. So actually, he's going to start with triple sinkers. Okay. Now here's the changeup ball. So he's going sinker, 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 changeup. Another sinker. This time Soto, see, so before the pitch in, he assumed it was going to be in, and you got the jackknife effect, the ball coming back to the plate. But now that he's seen that shape, he's anticipating the ball coming back to the plate. This ball's even more inside, but Soto doesn't get out of the way of it. He goes ahead and fires at it, actually barrels it, and pulls it foul. This is another reason why I like these pitches. Even when if a guy is anticipating this pitch coming, a lot of times the best they can do is pull it foul. And that's what happened here. He does beat him to the spot, but it doesn't get you anything. It just gets you a long foul ball. So now he's going to switch to the four seam. They're still staying in with him. He doesn't get it. Now, this is an interesting tunnel, an interesting approach here. All right, so the previous pitch, the sinker, started off the plate and ran in. This four seam, which we'll do in red because it's four seam, starts off the plate in and doesn't run back in. Now, maybe what JT and Nola were trying for here, and Aaron were trying for here, was if he assumes pitches that are inside are going to run back to the plate, maybe when I throw this four-seam fastball, Juan will swing at it, assuming it's another sinker, and he'll get blown up. So I understand the idea of this. The idea was to generate a swing off the corner in, but Juan Soto doesn't swing. And I actually think it might have worked, except he started it a bit too low. Also, it had decent horizontal break on it anyway, so it kind of behaved like a little bit more lifty, but still running like a sinker. And then he's going to go change up. So no breaking balls in this first at-bat. All sinkers, change-ups, and then the 1-4 seam attempt. And he kind of just dances around Juan, and Juan doesn't give in, and he walks. So that's the first at-bat. We'll get back to that again later. Now Aaron comes back to strike out Pete with a right-on-right change-up here. Excellent pitch, and changeup was a big part of the game plan today. Like I said, 21 changeups that he threw in this start, and it's a really good equalizer. So that seems to be the new formula that he figured out for today's game. He's going to get another out with a changeup here on Nimmo. Pretty good swing by Nims. Just doesn't quite get it out. I thought he was slightly off balance on that. Let's see, 104 at 32. That's a pretty good poke. But it's pretty deep out there in center field, slightly to the right field side, where that bullpen comes in. So Bader's back there, and he makes the play. All right, so that was the first inning. And now we'll jump over to Nolan McLean's first inning. And he starts it off with a beautiful front door jackknife on Bryce Harper. Boom. So that's what Nola did for strike one. On the other side, to Juan Soto on the 1-0 count. Here, in this case, McLean holds it back for 2 strikes. and ends up locking up the two-time MVP. That was nasty. Now he's going to get Schwarber with a changeup. He also went to the changeup quite a bit in this game. And you know what? He's got a heck of a changeup. He has no trouble getting plus movement on his pitches. Negative 1.7 on the changeup. Elite. At 90 miles an hour. Now, he's known for his high spin rate. And then this one comes in at 1409. So this tells me he is definitely kicking the change. And you can kind of see it here in the glove. You see the knuckle up. So he's throwing a kick change here. But the location is outstanding. He gets Schwarber to chop it in the ground, which is the opposite of what he's trying to do. So good pitch there. And then he finishes a clean first inning with a flyout of JT on a sweeper. Kind of not where he wanted it, but JT kind of has to fist it out there. And a nice play by Jeff. Another thing to note really quick is the leg hang move by McLean here. He tried one of these in his previous start in Detroit and then kind of shut it down the rest of the game. And then we see it right here, doing it right here to JT. So it's a little timing mechanism. And why JT, right? Why is he picking him to do it? Well, the simple reason is JT has a leg kick. And a very high one at that. When you see players like this, where they have a very high leg kick timing mechanism to get themselves engaged with the ball, those are good candidates for leg hangs, quick pitches, all sorts of stuff like that. So McLean's already very savvy, and I have to believe a lot of this savviness came from the fact that he was in the batter's box not that long ago in Double-A. So he has a clean first. And we go to the second for Mr. Aaron Nola. He's going to get Vientos here on a sinker. Just kind of middle down, and Mark just kind of chops it in the ground. Looked like a pretty good pitch to hit, and he will do a good job on a sinker later in the game, which we'll get to. Then Squirrel. Squirrel's a tough matchup for Nola. He doesn't have enough overpowering velo to mess with Jeff, so he's going to have to catch him off guard quite a bit. And this is kind of a very Jeff hit. He's on 2 strikes, he shortens up, and he just slaps it the other way. Question from Scott, is the kick change finger the one bothering McLean? I'm not actually sure. Maybe. It looked to me like usually on the kick change it would be the middle finger. I didn't see which finger he hurt himself, whether it was pointer or middle. So I guess we'll try to figure that out. And then Alvey goes down swinging on a knuckle curve. This was actually ended up being kind of a theme on the night. He had a very hard time with breaking balls in this game for some reason. I have to wonder how the hand is feeling coming right back up off the IL. And here's a guy who's not struggling at the plate is Brett Beatty. He whacks a curveball. He's a very good curveball hitter right on left. And this ball's kind of hung 2-0 in the bottom of the zone. So hits it 106.5 to right, and the Mets have first and third, and that brings up a big out in this game, which was this Cedric Mullins at-bat. So let's watch the whole at-bat here. Sinker in. So there's that first pitch, front door sinker. Again, not my strategy, but Nola's going to work that tunnel a lot. Now he goes 4-seam in off that, hoping to generate a swing. Brings it in a little bit too much. Looks like they're going to double up for better execution the second time. And this time he does get the swing way off the corner. So you can see a little bit how the sinker and the 4-seam interact on this inside part of the plate to lefties for Aaron Nola. The first pitch sinker that ran back to the corner kind of forces Cedric Mullins to respect pitches that start off the corner in. And ultimately, a pitch and a half later, he ends up swinging at a pitch way the heck off the plate. And he's going to get Aaron to a 1-2 count. Now he's going to go for that changeup off that. Really good pitch. Really good pitch, and Cedric survives it. But I like that tunnel. I like that choice by JT and Aaron. They read that pretty well. I mean, 4-seam in, and you're getting guys swing, pull side on a pitch off the plate in. I think changeup down was a good call. And let's see how they finish him. All right, well, now they go to the curve. And the big key is where it ends up. He gets it below the zone. And Cedric's really struggling. There's not a lot of give right now in his swing. He's not going down to get it. He's not sinking into his legs at all. So really good pitch there by Nola. Gets out of an early jam. And we'll switch back over to Lightning McLean. Second inning. Max Kepler leadoff single. It's on the four seam. And, you know, McLean, for all of his nastiness, he doesn't have true elite shape on the four seam. It is 97, so that's nice. But he has to stay out of the medium height band with his four seam, right? That's exactly where this ball is. It's the medium height band. With his four seam, he's got to use his VAA to get up here, or he's got to be trying to paint the bottom rail. Obviously, throws in the middle. And a good swing. Got to give credit to Kepler here. Good swing. Drives the ball to left and gets on base.
A good thing. Line drive, base hit it to left field.
So that brings up Mr. Harrison Bader, who I've recently seen is up to 800 OPS, over 800 OPS. So you got all the defense, the clubhouse stuff, and now we got a guy who's hitting for maybe the second year in his career that he's been quite a bit above average. But really, 800 OPS is impressive, and I'm wondering what that means for him. Is he going to get a multi-year? Is he going to get paid? I'm excited for Bader. So he takes a first pitch sweeper, hunts the sweeper. And one thing about Harrison's hitting approach that is a little bit unique to him, not unique to him, but he's very unapologetic about it. He goes up there hunting what he thinks you're going to throw him. So he felt like sweeper was definitely coming in for a strike at some point. He goes up there hunting it. This is a very good approach. Sees the ball pop at him, stays on it, hits a nice line drive. All McLean's trying to do there is get ahead. And that's when he's most vulnerable, because he's not trying to be so perfect. And that's where the ambush comes in. A smart hitter with a good plan on a first pitch can do a lot of damage. So second and third, Jeff's miffed, but second and third, no outs. And now Castellanos comes up and drives in the only run of the game. With that little slash the other way. On a first pitch sweeper, key is didn't try to pull the sweeper. Righties are not going to be able to pull that sweeper unless it really starts way at them and breaks on the inside part of the corner. Anything away, if you try to pull off a sweeper, that's what you're going to do. You're going to pull off it, you're going to pop it up, you're going to hit it off the end. So that's the only run of the game. And from then on, McLean kind of shut it down. Really good curveball, gets the grounder. And the lead out off of Stott, and then Sosa's going to get a hit on a sweeper. Let's see if he uses the opposite field. Goes up the middle, though. No effort to really pull that ball, so a good swing. Good approach on the sweeper early here from the Phillies. But McLean does put this inning to bed with a right-on-right changeup. And it's got to be a kick change, because this metric is I'm almost out of words for this pitch. Are you kidding me with this pitch? Negative 9.9 inches of vert? I just need to watch it visually. Does this look like a negative 9? Let's see. Oh, yeah. That was filthy. That was filthy, 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 filthy. This guy's pitches are gross. He's the best rookie I've seen this year. I don't give a crap about 103 mile an hour Mizorowski or any of those guys. You could talk ceilings. They might have bigger ceilings, but like showing up on day one ready to be nasty, this guy, Nolan McLean, is the guy. All right. Third inning for Nola. And he's going to get Lindor out with a fastball. Let's see where he puts it. Not a good spot. And the ballpark just barely holds it. So it's such a game of inches. Lindor's a millimeter on the barrel away from a home run there. All right, Juan Soto, we're going to watch all the pitches. So here's the second at-bat. First at-bat, Juan got the walk. Everything was in on Soto in that first at-bat, except for the changeup attempts. So now they start away with a four-seam. Second at-bat, four-seam away, curve. That's the first spin that he sees of the day, and it gets to 1-1. And now he's going to go back to that changeup. Nice pitch, keeps it in the zone, rolls it over. This is another outstanding job of targeting by JT Realmuto. Okay, a lot of factors to this targeting and why it's so good. He's going to throw a changeup, right? But it's a 1-1 count. 1-1 count is what? A strike count. You got to get to 1-2 or force the action. 2-1 is a no-go. So you got to throw a strike. So typically on a changeup, you might see a target down and away. That way it's either perfect or it's a ball somewhere that they can't hit it. But in this situation, he needs to throw a strike. So where's the target? It's up in, middle in. That way, when the ball trends to the right, there's still more plate to work with and throw a strike. Now watch what happens. The ball trends to the corner, but it's still in there. If Juan had not swung, it would be a 1-2 count. So that's a beautiful job, once again, of the catcher helping the pitcher execute better. JT Realmuto, veteran catcher, knows what he needs to do for his veteran pitcher, Aaron Nola, and that's a perfect example of it playing out in real time. So 2 outs there, and then Pete hits a double. It is kind of crazy to me how many at-bats the Mets players have against Aaron Nola. It seems like he pitches against them 3 to 4 times a year, and probably before the realignment of the schedule, like back to the balanced schedule, is probably 5 or 6 times a year. I think I read somewhere yesterday that going into yesterday's start, he had 170 career innings versus the Mets. That's basically an entire season just against the Mets. So 2 outs, man on second, and here is Mr. Nimmo, and he catches him with the front door sinker. Now this time he did hold it back for 2 strikes, and you can see this is a little bit of a deke move. There's so much game within the game during this baseball game. JT's on the outside corner, so Pete can't give away location because Pete's eyes are in here trying to look at location, right? He knows that as soon as he sees JT zip to the inside, it's probably the front door sinker coming, so JT holds that back, doesn't zip there until very late. Boom. Still gets there in plenty of time, though. By the time he hops over, he's in place. Nola has not released the ball yet. Now he's over here. He can drive right at it, run it back over. See you later. That's actually just beautiful execution and doing the little things right. Doing the little things right. So we go back to McLean. Nola executing very well on his side. And now we get back to McLean. He goes back to the top of the order again. And 3-1. This is pretty common from Nolan, what we've seen in his first handful of starts. When he needs to throw a strike, he loves to throw a sweeper. He does it here on a 3-1 sweeper with nobody on in the inning to Bryce. And he gets what he wants. He gets a ground ball. So the adjustability in his game, his ability to pivot to any pitch in any situation really stands out. It really does. So that's 1 out in the third. Now he's going to get Schwarber with a changeup. He got him with the changeup last time. Kyle thought he got that. He must have just mishit that. Yeah, 102.3. So changeup. Let's watch both of these. I'm curious. Changeup away. And then he just stays on the changeup, I guess. Really good swing. But just misses it. Schwarber's so good. He was laying in the weeds there. So then there's going to be a JT walk and then a Max Kepler ground out to get us through the third.
2-1 to Kepler. That one's hit the opposite way. Diving stop by Beatty. He's going to go to first.
Hell of a play by Beatty. So sinker, Kepler beat him the first time going the other way. Tries to go the other way again. This is actually an interesting pitch choice. Not sure if I love it, but I'm not in the flow of this game, so it's hard to judge it. But Brett Beatty, beautiful play. 103-mile-an-hour ground ball. I see in the chat my wife's talking about, do I have a straw? Look at this straw right here that my wife has. They're pencils for back to school for the kids. So yes, I'm rocking the pencil straw, which is very trippy. Because I need my iced coffee today. So that's the end of the third. And we go to the fourth for Nola. Vientos. Beat him with the sinker the first time. He's going to get him with the sinker the second time. Man, he's gotten 2 pitches to crush in this game. This one, he just misses it. Mets have gotten some pitches to hit. There's no doubt about it. I think Aaron's looked good, but he's definitely gotten some pitches to hit. Vientos in this game, as well as a few others. All right, let's see McNeil. Here's a curveball. I think McNeil has really good numbers off Nola. I'd have to check that. Rolls it over to Bryce. And then Alvey, this time it's another breaking ball. So Alvey gets out all 4 times in this game on breaking ball. Just something weird about the swing flaw, and credit to Real Muto and the Phillies, and they're pitching people and everybody for recognizing it and just going to it. You know, sometimes you don't have to be that tricky. It's just like, right now, this guy's not seeing breaking balls. Let's fire him in there. All right, so now we go to the fourth. Bader again, another first pitch ambush, another sweeper, and another hit. So he went up there with a plan. I'm hunting sweeper off this dude, and he ends up going 2 for 2 because of that plan. Castellanos just misses a sweeper here. This is the advantage of the metric that McLean's throwing out there. They're hunting his pitch, as you can tell, but it's still going to be really hard to square it up. I mean, this is a -20 going to the left, but the real key is that it's 88 miles an hour. It's really hard to track a ball moving that much, that fast, and square it up perfectly. So even with poor location, he's going to have more margin for error than most pitchers with this pitch. And that's what happens there. That was a guy looking for a sweeper who can crush a bad sweeper middle in down, Castellanos, and all he got was a pop out. All right, Stott. So this inning does get a little hairy. Looks like Bader just got thrown out stealing. Yeah, so we've been I guess I've been not crushing, but I've been obviously talking a little bit about the tough day that Alvy had behind the plate, but let's give him credit for the caught stealing. I think it's going to be right here. Perfect throw here. Hoses the shit out of Bader. So credit to Alvy on that, and then obviously he's going to get Sosa to finish this inning with a nasty curveball. Perfect location down. So it's a combination of stuff, and it's also execution. He's doing both at a very, very high level. And now we'll go back to Nola. So it's a Beatty walk and then a Cedric Mullins bunt attempt. High pop up, pops it up right to JT, easy out. That hurt. And now we're back to the top of the order again. Lindor. Change up again, just misses it. Pretty good pass at that. Just hits it. And that's been the story for the Mets the last few days. And then I think there's a pickoff here. Somehow Beatty gets picked off there, and the inning ends. All right, we're back to McLean. Fifth inning. So he walks Otto Kemp leading off the inning. And then Harp comes up, and he strikes him out with a curveball. And this was a crazy swing to get. I mean, look how far outside this pitch is that Harper swings at. But he's so used to the sweeper sweeping back to the zone, anything popping out here coming back this direction, that this ball pops out. He just thinks that it's going to run back, but it doesn't. He kind of has a runaway backup curveball here, and Bryce is too committed to swinging. McLean kind of dominated Bryce Harper in this game. 2 strikeouts and a rollover on a 3-1 sweeper. Very impressive. So then Schwarber walks, and then JT. Here's a sinker. Another incredible metric on his sinker. 0.5 vert on his sinker is outstanding at 95 miles an hour. Every pitch this guy throws out there is plus. Almost gets the double play, and then finishes out this inning with a called strike 3 to Kepler. Looks like it's going to be a front door. Yep, front door sinker, see you later. Nice pitch. And McLean, he just hangs in there, man. And then we go to the 6th inning. Now, this is the 3rd at-bat with Juan Soto, so let's watch it. Still 1-0. Starts him with changeup down. And he's going to go curveball. He has been, ever since the first 2 pitches of the first at-bat, he has not doubled up since. He went sinker early. Since then, he's been sticking and moving. So change up down, curveball strike. 4-seam coming here. Dots it away. Gets to 1-2. And then he breaks out the one and only cutter he throws in the entire game for this moment. That's how good Juan Soto is, that he will have you pick up a pitch out of the couch cushion behind you and say, you know what, this is the moment because I know he's locked in on everything else I got. But he does. He picks it up out of that couch cushion and he throws a perfect backdoor cutter, gets Soto to swing under it. I have noticed that this is a pitch that he struggles with, is like a slider gyro cutter to the up and away quadrant. Because I threw him some really crappy, like 85-mile-an-hour ones one time, and he missed them twice. And I was like, you're way too good to miss that pitch. So there's something about that spin effect to the up and away corner that kind of messes with him. This pitch doesn't even get to the up and away corner, but it still works. And he swings under it. So Nola breaks out a pitch one time and gets a huge strikeout. Then he's going to get Pete to fly out. Just chases him above the zone. And then he completes his domination of Nimmo with another front door sinker and an emergency hack. See you later. So Nola goes 6 shutout, by far his best start of the year. We have to watch how McLean finishes out. Giving up a 3rd hit to Bader. This time he's like, you're not getting another sweeper. Harrison kind of instinctively knows that, so he hunts something else now and lines a changeup up the middle. 3 hits for Harrison. A very impressive game. And then he's going to get his final out, getting Castellanos out on a sweeper. Once again, though, this is the 3rd sweeper that Castellanos put in play this game. 1 for a hit, 2 for flyouts. Game of inches. I mean, pretty close to clipping both of these. But again, the metric kind of saves Nolan in that situation. So both of these guys pitch into the 6th. Nola gets through 6. What are our takeaways as we get into the chat looking at these 2 pitchers from last night? Hold on. Yes, Archie. I love you. Are you coming in? All right, what are our 2 takeaways? Our 2 takeaways are McLean does a really good job of adjusting in-game, and he has enough weapons where if somebody's hunting him, he can kind of pivot off of that. He also has a lot of in-game, in the batter's box feel, definitely due to his hitting background. Come. You come say hi? You come say hi? Okay. He did not make it? No. He struggled. He was going crazy, so he just left? Yeah. Okay. So that's my takeaway on McLean. He continues to be impressive. He continues to adjust. When a guy beats him one way, he doesn't give it to him again too often. He pitches well with runners on base. He does all the little things really well. So through 5 starts, you got to be just in love with this guy. Citizens Bank Ballpark is a totally crazy experience as a visiting player in this Mets-Phillies rivalry at this time of year. So this was a whole new experience for him going through that for the first time. So impressive at that. Huge takeaway for the Phillies is that Nola looked good. It was kind of the old Aaron Nola mixing and matching. I do think he found a little bit of a formula going more heavy changeup last night. I don't know, his lefty game, he's obviously afraid of getting ambushed. That's why he's going early with the front door sinkers. So it worked last night. Let's see how it continues to go because that's an important development over the last 3 weeks of the season for the Phillies, whether he can help them or not. Hi. What do you got? You got the grabber?
Okay.
All right, we got a little kid interference here, but it's okay. All right, so those are the first 2 things. Yeah, the bunt was a weird thing by Mullins. He's struggling. He's trying to make something happen. The thing I didn't like about it, and you can see in the technique, I get you're trying to be a little sneaky here, but he goes for like the leg kick late show on the bunt, and I feel like that doesn't let him see the ball that well. Here, let's look at that play again. So if you watch Cedric here, he kind of leg kicks and then gets like the hands ready kind of late. So that's the first thing that I noticed there. He tried to do too much. He didn't just try to get it down. All right, when a team sees someone this much, everyone's generally familiar with their own personal game plan as a pitcher. How does that change your ability to fluctuate what you do best? This is so hard. Like when I face a new team or a new set of batters for the first time, I just go status quo. I just go the basic stuff. Like for me, it was just like, all right, I'm gonna throw you a sweeper, cutter first pitch, and then I'm gonna work eventually back to my sinker. And I'm just gonna throw my best pitches and just see how you react. When you faced a guy a lot of times or a team a lot of times, and some of them have had success off of you, now it gets a little more chess match, and you have to do a much better job reading, and you gain more information too by seeing what they can and can't do against you. Thank you. Thank you. This is our schedule today? Okay, love you. So I guess that's an easy, it's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. As you see a team more and more, both sides are gathering more information. It does become more of a chess match, more of a guessing game, more of a poker game even. But this is why it's really fun and why it was really challenging. I think in division, especially before they switched the schedules back to the balanced schedule, like, we play teams in your division 19 times. There's no hiding. There's no secrets. You know each other very, very well. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the Dodgers Glasnow in a minute, and definitely McLean's game one at this moment. I'd be shocked if he's not game one starter. Somebody else would have had to step up huge. All right, so we're not done with this game though. I want to point out two more. We're gonna look at two more things. The first thing is Helsley, right? Helsley pitched. Everybody's been wondering about Helsley. Is he tipping? Is he not tipping? Why is he struggling? One of the things that myself and Mitch, who's on this chat all the time, we're talking about a lot is he just needs to flip straight into a breaking ball monster. And that's what he ends up doing last night. He only throws one fastball in this whole outing. Slider away. As you can see, the hands are tucked in tight. He's not going to get caught tipping again. Who knows if he was, if he wasn't, but this is a good adjustment by him. Just a matter of if he's comfortable. So, of course, he immediately falls behind 2-0, but he sticks with the slider. Doesn't go to the predictable heater. Then throws another slider. You can tell he's not tipping after that swing. Also, I feel like JT gives a little nod after the swing, like, oh, okay, you're not throwing fastballs anymore. And then he goes with the curveball, 2 speeds down. So 4 sliders and a curveball to the first batter. It is a pretty good swing by JT. He's an outstanding curveball hitter. But 1 out, and then he ends up striking out these next 2 guys. Slider down ball. Command still not, perfect, but let's see how it keeps going. Then he gets a chase on a slider. So you can see teams continue to want to be aggressive against him, but if he doesn't give you that fastball, it's awfully tough. Swing and miss, swing and miss. So slider, slider, slider. Now it goes to the curveball. Slider again. So we are now, like 8 or 9 pitches in, no fastballs. Slider down, slider again. And to me, this was a good adjustment. You're getting beat on one thing. Let's see if they can beat you on the other thing. He does finally go to the heater here. And guess what? When you haven't seen one in a while, he had no shot on that. Basically 101 above the zone. Every other pitch had started up to come down. So he sees the ball up, thinks it's going to come down again. Nope, 100 miles an hour. So all the breaking balls make the fastball look even faster. And then Harrison Bader, who was 3 for 3 in this game, he gets kind of dominated here. First pitch curveball. Second pitch slider, nowhere near that, and generates the chase. And then you see Alvey calling for it in the same spot. Throws it again, gets the abbreviated swing. Look at this swing by Bader here. And he's had a great night at the plate. But that's what Helsley's slider can do to you. It's such a good pitch. That's his best pitch. Expect to see a lot more of that going forward as we trend into the second half. Now you can see it broken down here. Here's Helsley's outing last night. 11 sliders, 3 curveballs, 1 fastball. And then whiffs. He got 6 swings on slider and 5 whiffs. So that speaks to the fact that this is probably a pretty good plan. He should stick with this. And then you just read the batters. As soon as they seem like they're slowing down, 100 miles an hour. So I actually think this was good. This might give him a little bit of a blueprint going forward. And I'm curious to see how he builds off this outing. And then we should watch the 9th inning. Because this was just such a great game. Very entertaining. For a 1-0 game. I mean, just very, 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 very entertaining. So Duran starts the 9th. This was the big trade deadline acquisition for the Phillies. This is the type of innings he was traded to pitch in. And of course, Pete hits a splitter. 98-mile-an-hour splitter up the middle for a first pitch single. They then bring in Ronnie Mauricio to run for him. And then let's watch the rest of this inning. Nimmo, first pitch, splitter. Now, This pissed me off when I was watching it because this pitch is a ball, right? It's off the plate away. And not only does it get him to 0-1, it actually gets him to 0-2 because now this next pitch is also away. And Brandon feels like he has to swing at it now. So he chases that off the plate, and now it's 0-2. Very easily could have been 2-0 if the umpire made that first pitch call correctly. And this is where I can't wait for the batter's ability to tap the old helmet on these ones. Then he goes to knuckle curve. Gets a very strange swing here. Kind of slices it over to left. Phillies have Kepler positioned well, so there's the first out. And then Vientos, now earlier in the game I mentioned he got beat with a couple sinkers. This is essentially a sinker, and this time he stays through it, slices it to right for what appeared like a game-tying double. But I don't think Mauricio gets a great read off this ball, and he's nowhere close to scoring on it. So let's watch Ronnie here. I'm curious to see the read off the bat. Secondary lead, hit. Yep, slows up big time. And then goes and gets it. He's kind of lumbering. By the time the ball gets to Stott, he's here. Now imagine if he didn't stop, he might have been here. Probably still doesn't go. But I thought that was worth looking at. For a moment there, he thought Castellanos had a shot at that. So that gets us to a second and third one-out situation. Really good swing by Mark there, by the way. Really good swing. Credit to Vientos on that swing. That gets us to the second and third situation for McNeil. Now, for my money, this is probably the guy you want up, right? Former batting champ, really good contact rate, but he's facing a gross pitcher, so this was a tough at-bat. First pitch, 102, middle, but just too much speed for that first pitch, so he swings well under that ball. Then he comes right back with it, and this is actually a great adjustment by Jeff, and he nearly wins the game for the Mets here with this swing. This ball's like an inch foul. But it's an 0-2 count, and then we have to battle from there. 91-mile-an-hour knuckle curve. Oof, almost got the swing. 90-mile-an-hour knuckle curve. Nasty, but good take by Jeff. So he gets himself to 2-2. Here comes another fastball. Didn't even mean to swing, but fouls it off. And then finally, Duran throws him the perfect pitch, the up and away swing through. He gets the strikeout, 102. That's just cheese. That's just cheese. And that's why this guy got traded for and why he's so valuable. And then he's going to finish out the game with 3 consecutive knuckle curves to Alvey. Now, we noted earlier that Alvey was struggling with the breaking ball. It's just good recognition by the Phillies to stick with it here. He probably would have been better off not swinging and just trying to force them into the middle of the plate, but he ends up being a little aggressive here. And then it's a little too late in the moment. Just kind of gets him here, and Duran throws a nasty one and finishes out this game for the Phillies win. So they do hold on and win 1-0. I was curious, do you guys think that, so you can see clearly when Duran is throwing a curveball, you can see the knuckle big time on the glove. Looks like it's behind the mitt though. So you can see the grip big time with his glove tap here. But I don't know, do you think that you guys can see it at the plate? Probably not. So obviously the second baseman can flash it. Second base runner or first base runner, but it's pretty late to get it flashed there before you actually have to see the pitch on the way to you. So anyway, that's something that caught my eye, but great game, 1-0, nail biter. This is September baseball, right? A lot of big time guys played in this ball game on both sides on the pitching side of things. D-Rob for the Phillies had a great inning. Strikeout, groundout, strikeout, Strom. So they rolled out their best relievers in this game. D-Rob, Strom, Duran, and the Mets. Soto did a good job. Brooksy, 6-pitch inning, and Helsley looked great going to the all breaking ball approach. So yeah, that was the Mets game, and now we can move on finally to this guy, Tyler Glasnow, who almost threw a no-hitter last night. So we will watch through his start, but let's get into the chat really quick because that was 45 minutes of talking about one game that was 1-0, which is kind of crazy. We do have a question here in the chat. Watched the Sox-A's last night in Sacramento. I don't think you've done any real content on the A's stadium situation. We did look at the Sacramento situation, that stadium, and their park factors, because it turns out it's the second best ballpark to hit in this year, which was something that I didn't realize was going to be the case, because I played in the PCL in Sacramento. That wasn't my home stadium, but I played there plenty of times, and I always felt like that was a neutral ballpark relative to the other, absolutely insane launching pads in the PCL. Colorado Springs, Las Vegas, Reno, Albuquerque. Those places are not friendly to pitchers. Sacramento felt kind of fair, but it's played as the second best hitting park in the big leagues. Now, I always knew this was going to be a little bit of a disaster. The clubhouses are in like storage containers, or a crappy little building like outside of the outfield. So it's a weird situation. There's going to be no cage to hit in during the game. I did think that there would be good crowds. I do feel like they're probably getting pretty good crowds there relative to the size of the stadium with a little bit of berm action. There's some people out there on the grass. The bullpens out in right field are probably a little spicy. But ultimately, yeah, it's not a big league facility. And it's kind of sad that they're there. Because Oakland, I know that the people were down on the Coliseum, but that was still a big league ballpark and had a lot of great memories there and things that had happened there over the course of history. So that was important. All right, it's time to go to Glasnow. Great dude. I've known this guy for a little bit. Went from the Pirates to the Rays to the Dodgers. California kid. Had a lot of troubles with injuries, but make no mistake about it. When Tyler Glasnow's on the mound, he is filthy. We talk about extension. He's the number one guy. So him and Mizorowski are the top two. 100th percentile extension. So every single pitch that he throws is going to look a little faster than it says on the radar gun. Also, you look at this fastball. It's extremely cutty, almost averaging 0 inches of horizontal break. So it's a pretty unique fastball, over the top delivery, and then a straight down profile off of that. He's got the hard slider here in the yellow dots, and then the curveball's down here in these blue dots. Now he has added a sinker that he throws a little bit as like a backdoor option to righties or front door to lefties, occasionally going in with a righty, but for the most part, it's the four seam, it's the slider, it's the curveball, and it's a big athletic body coming right at you over the top with a lot of aggression and a lot of cheese. And when he's right, he's striking dudes out. Since he's been a Dodger, he's basically got a sub-1 whip, right? This year's 1.03 whip, last year 0.95 whip. So he's been damn good. He just can't stay out there. Anyway, let's watch him. It was a classic matchup, classic NL West matchup, something that gives me a lot of memories. It's the boys from Denver, the Colorado Rockies in LA, playing the Dodgers. And let's watch Tyler Glasnow mow the Rockies down. First strikeout is going to come on that slider. Dirty. So this is the second time in the last 3 games that the Dodgers have taken a no-hitter into the 8th inning or further. As Yamamoto, the game we watched on Baseball After Dark on Saturday, he went all the way to 2 outs in the 9th. Glasnow, I believe, gets into the 8th in this game, and this is just a great curveball. He has such a good curveball. It tunnels so well with his high fastball. It's one of the effects that makes him so good. So he starts off this game, striking out the side in the first. 1 slider and 2 curveballs. It's truly 12-6. A lot of people like to say, oh, 12-6 curveball, but when you go ahead and look at the horizontal number, it'll be a big number like -11. This is only -4.5, and then the big number is the vertical, -17. So this ball is basically 12-6, going from straight up to straight down. And for my money, it's probably the hardest pitch to square up in the game. It's like you can imagine a ball dropping straight down, and you're swinging from this angle, and you have to find the perfect way to hit it. Very hard to do that. Very hard to do that. So that's the first. Second inning, he walks Jordan Beck, and then Tovar. All right, so the first 4 outs he gets are all on breaking balls. There's the slider down and away. Tovar, good swing, but good positioning by the Dodgers. And then this was how actually the first run was scored. Kyle Farmer on a curveball. Former Dodger. He's going to fly out for the sac fly. So he gives up a run without a hit. But all 5 of his first outs are on off-speed pitches. And let's make it 6 as he strikes out Kyle Karros, which must be cool for this guy. playing in Dodger Stadium, where his old man is a big part of Dodger culture. So that's the end of the second. Now we go to the third. Another strikeout. This is the first one on the sinker. This is a new pitch that he started throwing last year. As you can see, he uses it to front door lefties. He's known for that fastball, but just having a little bit of this arm side run gives him another way to strike guys out. It is nice to be able to strike guys out without a swing and miss. When you can get a frozen strike three, that's kind of like a free strike three. You didn't have to generate a swing and miss. And that can really give you more options to get punchies, you know, when a guy's just not going to miss. Then he walks Ritter, and then he's going to get another ground out on a slider. Getting a lot of chase right off that outside corner. And I do think his slider interacts really well with his fastball because of the shape of his fastball. So his fastball typically has the appearance to the hitter that it's moving a little bit away. So like if he throws a fastball that starts here, it's going to end up like on the outside corner. That's the type of movement it has, like very subtle right to left movement on the way to the plate. But then the slider out of that same window, we'll put that in blue, would end up a little further over here. So it's like he can start two pitches out of that green dot, and one is going to land in the strike zone and one's not, and it's really hard for the hitter to detect which one is which until it's too late. So that's the effect that Glasnow has, and why he's getting so much chase of his slider off the plate away from righties. And then he'll finish out the third with a strikeout of Moniak on a curveball. Perfectly executed on the plate. And kids out there, if you want to strike guys out with breaking pitches, especially curveballs or any pitch with depth, you want to bounce the ball right behind home plate. And a way you can practice this is you can set up, you can have like a wall. You just have a wall and you just try to throw your breaking ball and one hop the wall. And the wall is basically the catcher in a blocking position. You're just trying to throw one hoppers into that. So you try to spin your breaking ball so it one hops into the wall. That's how I would practice it growing up, because this is where all the strikeouts are, man. Right below the zone. Beautiful curveball. And he's through the third. Now we go to the fourth. Curveball again. So, fascinating. We haven't seen one fastball yet to talk about his shape of his fastball or the explosiveness of his fastball. So he's pitching definitely forward to backward. So he's definitely starting guys with fastballs, it feels like, for the most part, and then going to the breaking balls. The only fastball we've seen is that sinker. Haven't even seen the famous four-seam yet. Jordan Beck called out on strikes. This is going to be a sinker. Back door. Boom. That's the second time that he's frozen somebody on a sinker, and it's just such a gift. Beautiful pitch. Hitters don't even get mad. They're just like, I got executed on, and I'm just going to walk back to the dugout. All right, now Tovar. Slider again. Off the plate away, rolled over to Mook. Another slider, another chase. Fifth inning, Kyle Farmer. Sinker. This time they're going to go in with the sinker. So this is a new approach. This is not something that he did at all when he was with the Rays. Also pretty nice PFP there. But the Dodgers have looped this in, and this is a typical evolution that we've seen the last few years. If you have a dominant four-seam, you just come up with pretty much whatever you can come up with as a sinker. I mean, this isn't a very good sinker shape. 12.6 horizontal, almost 14 vertical. So it's basically a bad four-seam, but relative to his real four-seam, it's got a heck of a lot more arm side movement. So that's why it works so good and ends up jamming a guy on a pitch down the middle here. Kyle Karros, first pitch sinker here. Beats him in. Can't get the barrel to it. Pops it out. And then Yankiel Fernandez. This is the first out he records on a four-seam. And there's that Tyler Glasnow four-seam. That's the one that really grabs your attention and should set up everything else. So a couple metrics on that. Negative 1.8 inches of horizontal means it actually has cut to the left. So this ball's actually cutting. And then 7.7 feet of extension. So that's off the scale in terms of closeness to the plate. So this ball feels faster than the 95.6 that it was. And on top of that, it is way different than your typical four-seam fastball shape. Typical four-seam shape would have about 8 inches of run away from you. This has 2 inches of run towards you. So very hard pitch to adjust to. But also interesting that it's literally the last out of the fifth is the first one he gets with a four-seam in this game.
matchups.
Now the 6th strikeout of Ritter. It's going to be on a slider. Let's see if it's a chase away. It is. See you later. Now Tyler Freeman. Curveball, probably below the zone. Oh, off the plate, away again. He's getting a lot more than typical amount of chase away from righties. And then Mickey Moniak. Curveball, probably on the plate. Well, not quite to the plate, but you get the idea. Straight down. Hitter can't match it with the swing. Chops way over it, and he strikes out the side in the 6th. 7th inning. Sinker. Somehow gets a guy to pop it up. Hunter Goodman actually having a pretty good year for the Rock Show. That was a good swing, but just misses it. And then Jordan Beck. Here's a 4-seam. So second out with a 4-seam. Comes with 1 out in the 7th. And you can see the effect of that dotted down and away 4-seam. This pitch is running away, or feels like it's running away from the hitter. So when he goes to swing at it, he doesn't match his barrel up properly, gets it way off the end, and hits it 70 miles an hour on the ground. And then he finishes his outing with the strikeout of Tovar. Slider up away. Strikes him out. So 7 innings, no hits for Glasnow. They don't send him out for the 8th. Trinan goes hitless through 8, and then Tanner Scott gives up a double because nothing's going right for Tanner Scott. He gives up a double to lead off the 9th. Right here, this breaks up the no-hitter. But credit to T. Scott, he does hang in there. And he ends up finishing out the game, getting Hunter Goodman the line out to end the game, and getting the save. So for one night at least, the Dodgers can be happy. The Dodger fans can be happy. Things, for the most part, went to plan. And for the second night in 3 nights, they carried a no-hitter into the 8th and beyond. So pretty impressive. Tyler Glasnow, 105 pitches, 11 strikeouts. Let's go look at his stuff last night. "31 sliders, 27 curveballs, 27 sinkers, 20 fastballs." I really never thought I'd see the day that the 4-seam fastball of Tyler Glasnow would be the least thrown pitch in his arsenal in a start, but that's where we finally landed on yesterday. And you know what? He got great results with it. On the whole day, he only got 1 whiff on a fastball. Between the sinker and the 4-seam, there was 19 swings on fastballs. He only got 1 whiff on it. So if I told you that stat before the game, would you say he had a no-hitter going through 7? No, but then if I told you this stat, 15 swings on curveballs, 10 whiffs for just an insane whiff rate on curveball, and then 4 whiffs on 9 sliders. So ends up getting 15 total whiffs, which is outstanding, all on breaking balls. So this is just another situation where we're seeing guys who have great fastballs try to pivot away from throwing it as much as possible. We saw it work for Helsley, and now we've seen it work for Glasnow in this game. So that's a huge piece for the Dodgers. If you think about the NL West and you think about the playoff picture and you think about who the Dodgers have on their roster and who they have what they are capable of sending out there on a daily basis, it's still upside-wise probably top tier. Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and you want to throw Kershaw in there, who's been outstanding. Nobody can really match that. The Mariners, maybe. But yeah, I would definitely say the Dodgers, this is a very encouraging sign. They're going to need more of this over the last 3 weeks to give their fans and, really anybody any confidence that they're going to go the whole way. I bet that the Rockies as a team are fastball hunting and struggle with spin. I'd say that's probably true on the road, Mitch, answering the question from the chat. I think that's, or statement from the chat, I think that's probably true on the road. Now, when you're a Rockies player and you're just coming off of a series in Coors, you know that when you go on the road, everything's going to have more action on it than what you've been used to seeing the week prior. So in a way, I think it makes sense to hunt fastballs. So in a way, it's a good counter move for Glasnow to go all sliders and curveballs. Now, does that have anything to do with the Rockies, or is that more like, this is what I need to do to get myself on track? Who knows? But either way, it was an interesting approach, and it worked. And we'll see how he continues that approach or pivots away from that in his last few starts leading up to the playoffs. But he's a huge piece. I've seen it. You know, I faced him in the playoffs when he was with the Rays, when I was with the Yankees. Not a fun matchup. You know, it's kind of like having a closer type of vibe out there, but for 5, 6, 7 innings at times in a playoff game, usually 5. But still, feels very hard to get anything going off of a guy with his type of stuff. Scott Ward, he's important to the Dodgers as Nola is to the Phillies. Yeah, so that's why I think it was so important to finally watch him pitch a little bit, especially in a good game. He is hugely important to them. You don't know what you're getting from Shohei necessarily. You don't necessarily know what you're getting from Kershaw or Snell necessarily. Like, Snell, I also think is huge and going to be great for them, but he's probably not going 6 or 7 either, and the bullpen has been not the typical Dodger bullpen, so it's going to be a lot of moving parts, and they're going to have to figure out how to work their way through it. I could even see Glasnow, if everything else was clicking, becoming a bullpen piece. But at the same time, he's a guy you want to keep on his routine, and you want to make sure he's healthy and stuff like that too. So there's so much that goes into these decisions. This is actually a crazy chart to look at. Look at this. This is Tyler Glasnow from last night. What's amazing, and this reminds me of Jonah Tong a little bit, nothing is in this part of the zone over here. Like, hardly anything. Everything is pulled to the glove side, middle or to the glove side. Look at all the miss. Everything is pulled over there. That's remarkable. And it reminded me of Tong a little bit, and I think it's because guys who have that high release with a little bit of that natural cut to it, they end up pulling a lot of balls over there. They don't stick a lot of balls arm side. So, I don't know. It's just fascinating to see that. You don't usually see that percentage of pitches in one location. These are the 4-seamers. Let's see the sliders, because those are all definitely off the plate, yeah. I mean, look at these sliders. You try not to swing at them, but guys kept swinging. They just kept swinging. Let's see the sinkers. And I think this is kind of a big reason, too. You're able to sell the outside corner a little bit more out of the hand if a lot of pitches that you throw end up coming back to the plate from the outside corner. So now that he's finally throwing a sinker, that's giving him a little bit more chase away, as well as the shape of his 4-seam. Like, he has really a perfect arsenal to get chase off the plate away from a righty or off the plate in from a lefty. He really does. And here's the curveballs. And you can see these balls just go straight down, man. They come out at the top, and they just hit the deck and get below the zone. Really, really good pitch. That's the pitch that had all the whiffs on it. So, Tyler Glasnow curveball, one of the best pitches in the game. 100% one of the best pitches in the game. All right, what else did I have written down? I think I wanted to look at this Josh Bell game, actually. We don't get to look at random dudes that often, but Josh Bell had a sick game, 4 for 6 with 2 dingers yesterday, which was the Marlins and the Nats. So let's watch it. Switch hitter, he's got a weird swing. Josh Bell, 4 for 6. So he got out the first 2 at-bats. Let's watch his 4 hits. First one's going to be on a changeup. I used to try to throw him a lot of changeups as well, but he has a pretty good plate coverage down and away. He's pretty good at extending the arms, and that's what he does here. Smacks one up the middle. 97.5 for the first hit off of Jansen Junk here. And he's going to homer on a first pitch changeup from the right side off Simpson. He's such a donkey. He's so big and strong. That was an easy swing. 110 at 23, 431. Former Marlin too. Oh my God, straight golf swing. This doesn't even look real. This looks like a Little League home run. Like the big giant kid in your Little League who just touches it. And that's always been the intrigue of Josh Bell. I mean, he hits the ball very hard. Now he's going to homer from the left side. So homering from both sides of the plate, what a freaking cool thing that is. And this ball's murdered. Another golf swing. 110 at 27. And when you hit him into the second deck in Miami and right, they always look awesome. Let's watch that again, and then I'll watch side. It's the typical 4-seam pulled down in and a 2-strike count. We've talked about this so many times. The catcher set up away, pulls the 4-seam down in. Bad recipe. Oh, baby, this was a smooth swing. This was really nice. Huge uppercut here, but it's all good. Smell ya. And then he gets another hit. Another changeup. So let's see if it's another good play coverage. Down in, and somehow that's going to chop through. So, when you're good, you're good. Get lucky there. Yeah, the 2,000 fans went nuts. Yeah, I know. There was nobody there. I heard there was a thunderstorm last night. There was like 500 people at that game. I like playing there, though. I'm not going to lie. I think it's weird that people don't like to go there. He has hit righties a lot better than lefties this year as a switch hitter. I always wonder that as a switch hitter, like, at what point in this, like, are you ever tempted to give it up midway? I mean, I feel like once you give it up, you never go back. I think Mullins was a switch hitter at one point, right? And then he went full lefty. Is that the case? Yeah, Cedric Mullins switched up. I know Dexter Fowler thought about going all right-handed at one point, but then he ended up being a switch hitter and being pretty good left-handed. A lot of guys. It's interesting. I would rather stay switch hitter. I feel like you're always going to get that more comfortable matchup versus a righty or a lefty from the opposite side of the plate than that uncomfortable right on right or left on left. But I can also see it's tough to keep both swings grooved. So there's definitely a lot that goes into it. And switch hitters definitely live a different life than everyone else. Yeah, Albies is another one. Some guys are just so much better on one side than the other. Which is interesting, especially when it's the right side, because we all know right on right can be a little tricky. So I don't know if you'd want to do that. Like I remember Billy Hamilton one time came up against me right on right, and I was like, thank God, just threw him 3 sliders and struck him out. If he was left-handed, it's like, well, maybe he'll slap something and be safe, and the pitches that I have don't have the same effect on lefties. So I didn't understand that. I know that he was doing it for his own comfort, but I was like, dude, like against me, you should just hit lefty and just bunt every time. Like you have a much better shot than hitting righty and trying to hit my slider. So that's the way I always looked at that. All right. I think we got a tiny little bit more time here. Let's see what if anybody has anything in the chat that they'd like me to look at from last night as I go hunt through the scoreboard a little bit and try to recall anything interesting that might have happened. Guardians pitcher Ciccone had a no-hitter going for a long time, too. Braves beat the Cubs. Twins beat the Angels. Brewers lost to the Rangers. Mariners beat the Cardinals. Padres beat the Reds. Crochet 10K night. Nothing from last night, but any mechanical insight on Senga's struggles. I just been saying it for a while. Like I think Kodai's one of the nastiest pitchers the Mets have stuff wise. I just think he's always struggles with being too internally focused on his mechanics. When he's not thinking about his mechanics and he's just attacking, he's so good. But I feel like oftentimes he definitely spends a lot of time fixing, something that maybe feels off or he just spends a lot of time thinking about mechanics. I don't know how else to explain it. Some guys are like that. I play with hitters that are like that are good hitters that think about mechanics a lot. Like Mark Hanna was one. And, even DeGrom to some extent thought about mechanics a lot as a pitcher. So, and he's the best pitcher I've played with. So I don't think it's the end of the world. But for Kodai, I did feel like it would jam him up a little bit mentally to go out there and just attack and just compete. So I don't know mechanically what he's talking about necessarily or what he's feeling. But he's feeling something and he wants to fix it. And if he does fix it and gets a good feeling, you'll see good Kodai. But if he stays in this world of trying to figure it out and is not sure and unclear, you're not going to see him. So that's a big fear. All right, Crochet 10K night. I think that's fair. We can run through that because he got himself back on track. I saw he credited Connor Wong. Connor Wong, great catcher. Apparently he's fixed a few people this year. Connor Wong. So Chapman teaching him how to throw to spots. Crochet. Give credit to Connor Wong. And this was in the A's ballpark, which we just talked about in Sacramento. Pretty good place to hit. But Crochet, we'll just watch the strikeouts, just mowing people down. Wow, Shea Bangaliers bats leadoff. Doors. So there's the first punch. I love the way Crochet goes. Love the way Crochet goes no undershirt. Ooh, and then he freezes one of my favorite hitters in the whole world, Nick Kurtz, on a sinker here. I don't know what he was looking for here, but not the fastball in. And he gets through the first with 2 strikeouts. Here's one to Colby Thomas. So another fastball. Let's see if the 4-seam fastball strikeouts are all up and away to righties. That's what it feels like this year. Yep, there's another one. Interesting that they can't lay off of that. Do you think that maybe they're worried about like maybe cutters coming back to the zone and then they chase this fastball up away? Because to me this looks like not that hard of a take, but he gets guys consistently swinging at that all day long. So there's a punchy there, and then Soderstrom, gonna get him on a fastball up, 97 now. Yeah, same spot, that arm side up and in. He even gets this guy swinging at it. Now, why did he swing at that? Let's see, cutter. Where's the first pitch cutter come out? So it comes out a little bit of an inside window and then sweeps across the plate. So you have to honor stuff starting in. Okay. And sinker. Interesting though, like that then. So that makes sense why he would chase the sinker in, but then he goes to the 4-seam up in, and he gets another ridiculous chase. I mean, this isn't even close to the zone, and he gets a good hitter to swing at it. So Crochet just ran through Soderstrom there. All right, gel off. Sweeper is going to be the back foot. Nasty. And I like the fact that he throws a slow sweeper. In the day and age where so many guys push to throw the 85, 86 mile an hour sweeper, I actually like the fact that Crochet sweeper is 82, 83 and gets to 85 only once in a while. And it's because it creates more separation from his fastball to his sweeper speed-wise. So it's like you get on 97, you're going to be way out in front of 82, 83. If this pitch is 86, you're not as out in front of it. So I really like that aspect of his game. All right, let's look for some more strikeouts. Colby Thomas called out on strikes. You're going in here, and he drills it. Beautiful pitch. He must have thrown a slider earlier that broke in off, so just reading the at-bats and then executing. Great pitch there. Soderstrom again. Please tell me it's another up and in heater. It is. He can't lay off that. And do you see the hitter's reaction? Just wanted to quit after this swing. He's like, what am I doing? Why am I swinging at this? Man, hitting is hard. Then Rooker is going to get Rooker here. Change up. So this is, he's going to the kick change too, for sure. And I know that it's pretty obvious because of 995 RPM. Also, he never used to have a negative metric. So it's either a split or a kick change. But he uses it to great effect here and gets the strikeout. Oh, this A's lineup is a good lineup. Make no mistake about it. Nick Kurtz is like top 10 hitter in baseball. Rooker is an all-star we know about. Soderstrom started off really hot. Lawrence Butler. Jacob Wilson gets hits. Shea Langoliers might be the best hitting catcher outside of Cal Raleigh. So they can hit. They can freaking hit. Just watch. In 2-3 years, the A's are going to be good. And you're going to forget about all this time, but they're going to be good. And then he finishes this out with 2 strikeouts. So Jacob Wilson called out. Ooh, front door sinker from a lefty. Paint. Let's watch this whole at bat. How does he do this? Sinker middle. So middle. Take. Sweeper. Sweeper pops and gets him the swing and miss. Very rare Jacob Wilson swing and miss. And then he goes with the front door sinker. This is a sick pitch. This is so nasty. Ooh. Locked up. Smell you later. And then poor Soderstrom's going to strike out for another time. And it's a sinker down and away dotted. So he abuses him up in the whole game. The whole freaking game. He's dominating Soderstrom up in here, getting him all the way in here. And then he throws this backdoor sinker. That's going to end up here, but it comes this direction. You can't really tell from this camera angle, but that's what it does. So 2 strikeouts looking. And when you learn the ability and you learn the strikeout looking arts, it really levels up your strikeout rate in your game. Because now you don't need a chase and a swing and miss for every strikeout. You can lock guys up when the situation presents itself. So Crochet's adding that to his game, getting even more efficient with that. I think a 300 strikeout season is possible for him moving forward. I do think there's another level for him to hit. And really impressive outing last night. Let's look at his mix now, because I'm curious what it was last night. He's been just so good all year. Not slowing down. So 29 four-seamers, 24 cutters, 23 sinkers, 22 sweepers, and 3 changeups. So this is definitely a new changeup that he broke out overnight. And how do I know that? Because look at the spin rate changes. So previously, it was averaging 1793 in spin, and now we're down to 878 last night. That's a negative 915 drop in spin rate. Also, velocity, it went down 2.2 miles an hour, so everything about this pitch is different. Even on the movement, the changeup averaged 3 vert last night, down to -1, which was the one that I showed you. And then it averaged 7 on the year. So he's got 4 additional inches of drop on those 3 changeups he threw yesterday. And also, the pitch drops much more straight down and doesn't run like his sinker. So this is another big development for Crochet if we're talking about leveling up. It only averaged 5 inches of horizontal break, whereas it was averaging 13 before. So instead of it matching the sinker shape, so previously the sinker was 10 induced vert and 16 horizontal, and the changeup had been 7 induced vert and 13 horizontal. That's pretty close shape-wise, but now instead of it being that 7 and 13, it's now 3 and 5. Much different. And I like that because it deviates movement-wise. And since he throws so hard, it's going to be really hard to make a swing adjustment mid-swing. You're going to have to commit early, and then this ball's moving in an unpredictable way, in a way that at least you can't anticipate the way you could before, where sinker and changeup had the same shape. So I love that. It works really well off his 4-seam. See what he did for whiffs in this game. I mean, it's just amazing when you can get whiffs with your 4-seam like this. 8 whiffs on 19 swings. Very, very impressive. 6 whiffs on 11 sweeper swings is really, really good too. And that's his game. You know, this is the typical what the Red Sox look for. A lot of swing and miss, a lot of velocity, a lot of forcing the action by being in the zone early and often, and just formulating the nastiest pitches they possibly can. And this changeup is something that I want to keep track of, because this might take Garrett to another level if he can figure out how to implement this properly, because this is a huge departure break-wise from his 4-seam shape, and it'll be really hard to cover both. It'll be really, really hard to cover both, and this will give him another weapon. So, impressive stuff from Garrett last night. Yeah, looked nothing like his last outing where he got clipped a little bit by the Guardians. Mike Weisberg, they'll be good, all right, just not in time to move to Vegas. Just in time to not move to Vegas. Yeah, that'd be crazy. I was wondering what the big league hotel is going to be in Vegas if they do move there. Like, are we going to get like some sick, like, are the big league teams going to get some sick, like, suites at the Wynn or something? I mean, because, you know, there's a lot of luxury situations out there in Vegas, so I'd be curious what that would look like on the big league level. Minor league level, you go play in Vegas, you stay at the Golden Nugget on the old strip, which is great. You have a great time. But I'd be curious what the big league experience would be like, so I look forward to either finding that out or having somebody let me know if and when they do move to Vegas. And if they don't, oh man, shame on everybody. Shame on everybody. All right, so that's it for today. We dug into the Mets game for a really long time. And we ended up circling back with Glasnow and Crochet. So we watched a lot of pitching. We watched Josh Bell hit a little bit, but we didn't watch much hitting. But that's okay. Some days you're not going to. So let's get into the matchups for tonight. We got Burrows and Bradish, Pirates and Orioles. We got Noah Cameron and Joey Cantillo, Royals and Guards. Mitchell Parker, Adam Mazer, Washington Nationals and Miami Marlins. And then here's tonight's Mets-Phillies matchup. Sean Manaea It's been a while since he took the ball in Detroit. Let's see how he looks tonight. Let's see if he brings the changeup back in or not. Curious to see that after we broke that down. Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. He's been really good this year. Tough guy, tough matchup for the Mets, but the Mets are due for a big offensive performance after the last few nights. Tigers and Yankees, Casey Mize and Will Warren. I did watch Will Warren get hypnotized last night by this mentalist guy at this gala I was at. I'm sure he'll shake it off and be great tonight. I think they told him to strike out 20 batters tonight, so if you look for that, credit the mentalist. And then Houston and the Blue Jays. Luis Garcia, I believe this is first or second game back for this dude off the injured list. Tommy John. And then Shane Bieber, who also made his own Tommy John comeback this year. Hold on, Luis Garcia. Has he pitched yet this year? Ooh, there's two Luis Garcias. Is this the one? Ooh, I guessed right. Yeah, okay, so he's pitched one game this year, and he threw 6 innings, 3 runs. All right, so this is his second start. Good to know. Good to know. And Shane Bieber, who's looked great outside of 2 innings in his first 3 starts. Cubs and Braves. Cade Horton's looked incredible in the second half. He's something to watch, although they only let him throw 75 pitches at a clip. And then Spencer Strider. I heard he shaved the mustache, so it's going to be beardless Spencer Strider tonight. Let's see if that helps him turn it around. Rays and White Sox, TBA versus Yoendrys Gomez, and then TBA for the Brewers against Jack Leiter. Then we got Zebby Matthews, Kyle Hendricks from Anaheim. Zach Littell and Michael King making his return. So I think I might want to watch Michael King, depending on how he looks, to see. He's a big factor, too, coming down the stretch. See how his return looks. He's another guy, so good. Sticks and moves out there. He's got every pitch that you need. Matthew Liberatore, George Kirby. Kirby got rocked his last start in Tampa, but the Mariners are looking for him to bounce back at home tonight versus the Cardinals. Zach Gallen, Robbie Ray. This is a fun matchup. Gallen's thrown really well lately. We talked about that after his last start, and they are in San Francisco tonight, and Robbie Ray. And then Red Sox, Dustin May's getting another run at the rotation spot here for the Sox. They're playing the A's, Jeffrey Springs in Sacramento. Dustin May, look for him to get flooded with lefties in the lineup tonight for the A's. He really struggled with his lefty approach his last game. Righties, he still has no problem. I just worry about him versus lefties. How's he going to navigate that? Look for a lot of early sweepers to try to set up late fastballs. And then Rockies at Dodgers, Marquez and Emmett Sheen. Sheen has not pitched since the controversial did he or didn't he kind of try to steal that kid's first hit ball. Don't know. But anyway, Marquez and Sheen tonight. Full slate. Everybody's on the everybody's on the docket for tonight, so that's pretty awesome. Okay, Googled it. The new stadium has a hotel attached to it. John Fisher wants all teams to stay there. Yeah, okay, John Fisher. The teams will make their own choices. John Fisher. I don't need to learn about him. I don't need to listen to this guy. This guy stole his own team. Stole a team from a city. I don't like it. For NFL teams, what it's worth, Delano, Mandalay Bay, Waldorf Astoria, Fort. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of options. That's my point. I'm wondering what the big league situation in Vegas will be. Nick Kowal. Helsley finally looks like he's a baseball player and the Mets lose. Maybe they need him to be bad to fuel the offense. That's just the type of sick Met fan thought that makes you guys so special. We need our player to do bad so our other guys do good. I love the thought, though, Nick. I love it. You guys are sickos, and I love it. But he looked good. Look, he didn't throw any fastballs. Threw 1 fastball. So look for more of that if he gets in there tonight. And it'll be electric again at the bank tonight. And the Phillies are looking to put the division to bed. If they win tonight, they go up 9 games on the Mets. And the Mets now have to kind of look a little bit below them at the teams that are 3 games. There's one team 3 games below them. I think the Reds in that wild card race. So they need to more hold off that than to worry about the Phillies. But going head-to-head with Ranger Suarez tonight. Hopefully they can win and Mania can be big and step up. Because it'd be great if they had Sean in their rotation come playoff time along with McLean. And everybody's kind of auditioning for that right now. All we know right now is definitely McLean and Peterson at the moment. But Mania would be a nice addition to that as well. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate everybody that liked me on the Mets when I was there. So that's nice of you guys. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out. Everybody that hung out tonight, go watch the videos on the channel. See what pops up there. And then tomorrow we'll be back. Same time, 10 a.m. Baseball and coffee. Thanks for hanging. Love you guys. See ya.